Okay, and we're off. We're on. So we are live. Let's hit this music button. The whole thing is. But here we are.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Black Multiverse Theory podcast. We are your hosts, Nigel and Nilo. Will be exploring current events through an Afro-Canadian lens. And shout outs, we catch up with the community, creating a space for connection. In the scroll, we dive deep into social media, current events, and celebrity news. Always actual, not always factual. On the screen, we share our latest watch list, while in our ears explores the sounds shaping our world. The podcast culminates with an uplifting message called The Word, which hopes to leave you empowered. Thank you for tuning in for insightful analysis of vibrant perspective on the Black experience in today's world. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure you missed us last week. Let me get that applause in there. I'm sure you missed us last week. We had a series of technical issues which continued into this evening, to be honest with you. But we are here. We have things to talk about. We're going to knock it out. And keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let us begin with shout outs. Who you got to shout out?
Shouting out, first and foremost, my mom, who she hasn't really been feeling that great these days. Thanks, sunset.
You want to move it?
Okay.
So shout out to Mama Zita. What you said? I was. And then you said, yeah, we're not going to.
That's my shout out. You tell your shout out.
Oh, I will. Okay. It's fine now. You can continue your shout outs.
All right. To Mama Zita, who hasn't been feeling well. Shout out to the Steel Heights Tigers, especially my oldest son, Nashawn, who their team went to Millet and won. They did come in bronze. They did a really great job out there. Drove all the way out there. They did a great job. It was fantastic. And that's it. That's it for my shout outs for now.
Okay. I have to give a shout out and a big thank you to Bill from Standing Bear. Definitely a big shout out to my family who's in New York. My mama's birthday and my grandma's birthday just passed recently. And that has been a tough time. That has been a very tough time. Yeah, so shout out to my family who's been working that out. Okay, you ready?
Okay, ready.
Let's move it on to the scroll. Okay. Well, this week in the scroll, in our local scroll, we
have got this week a couple things that we are looking at. The Oilers, let's go Oilers, let's go, are in the system. Lost their first two. Now, if you don't know, it's out of 7, and so they lost 2. In order to win the whole Stanley Cup, they have to win 4 back to back. They've got to try and win as many as they can from here on out. So they will be here tomorrow trying to win against the Florida Panthers, which is interesting.
What's interesting about it?
It's interesting because Danielle Smith and the was she our premier? She had a bet against the Florida Panthers governor. I think it's the governor of Florida. that if the Oilers win, no, if the Panthers win, she sends over some Alberta whiskey over there to Florida. And if the Panthers win, then if the Oilers win, then he's going to send over some Florida rum with a bonus of key lime pie.
Are we known for our whiskey here in Alberta?
I don't know. I know we're known for beer, like beer. We're a big beer. There's lots of breweries. There's lots of home breweries here. There's beer fests, multiple cocktail festivals. But as far as whiskey, I didn't know we had an Alberta great high-priced whiskey.
I feel like if somebody was like, girl, I got you some of this Alberta whiskey, I'd be like, does Alberta do whiskey? Like, it doesn't ring a bell for me. Like, I'm not sure if I know her. I also like to call Danielle Smith our biggest hater. Our biggest op. Or I've never actually been a constituent of somebody who hates their constituents as much as she does. And it is interesting serving in that role, in that position, and absolutely determined not to do anything to make the lives of your constituents better or easier in any way or shape or form. So it's quite the commitment for her. Ron DeSantos is also like a pretty much 0 out of 10 human. So the fact that they're friends just makes me like roll my eyes.
It is strange, and it is interesting as well to see Danielle Smith's movements.
She loves them. Yeah. Because she was a journalist. She loves those American conservatives. Like, she loves them. That's her thing.
That is it. Doesn't really surprise me that happened. But it's the Stanley Cup, and right now I think we had a small, I think you were telling me the other day that the Oilers have in the gambling route, the odds are not in their favor. People are like betting on them to lose the whole.
Yeah, the Oilers are the Panthers are the favorites in this, but that is a gambling odd. That's, even though more physical people want the Oilers to win just by the stats alone or whatever, they say that the odds are that the Panthers will beat the Oilers. I'm really here to talk crap about the Oilers because I believe they win when I do that.
Yeah, she has a method to her.
It's a method, you guys.
To her miracle.
Right. So don't worry about it.
Okay, there you go.
When I say oil losers, don't worry about it.
I feel like the Oilers have a chance to win. Nilo feels that because they're orange they have orange and blue, so they're not gonna win because they're orange and blue. But they have won as orange and blue in the past. They have won in the past. Always they have brought it home. Wayne Gretzky is a witness. Yeah, Mark Messier is also a witness to that. Grant Fuhr also a witness to that.
People who weren't even born then have children.
Yeah. Oh, and you could talk about what's his name there. Smith. His last name is Smith. Who? The hockey player. Ryan.
Oh, Ryan Smith. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
He was pre-Connor, right? Like, he was the guy right before him?
No.
It was a couple. Was that what we were?
Well, Smith came in, made us to the playoffs in 2007.
Oh, 7. Yeah, I wasn't here then.
And then they got in that guy Hall, Taylor Hall, I think his name was.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Remember Taylor. The old Taylor? We bigged him up. We were like, yeah, you're the greatest. And then he did nothing. Yep. Then went on to another team and he did something.
The curse of the orange and blue.
It's the curse of whatever that is. Mm-hmm. And then McDavid came in.
Check the Knicks. Check the Mets.
McDavid came in and literally
has been trying ever since.
But I've seen him skate. He's super fast. Like, absolutely fast. And even won this year's speed challenge. Mm-hmm. He won as the fastest skater in the league. So
too bad it's not by skating competition.
Well, In the end, it does. It is. Actually, that's how he scores most of the time. He beats out everybody. He gets there and he just scores. He's fantastic. It's so fantastic that McDonald's has decided that if the Oilers win, they're going to change one of their places from McDonald's to McDavid. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm like,
it's very close to McDowell's for me.
They should change it to McDowell's.
I will call it McDowell's. God forbid there's a McDavid's. I will call it McDowell's all day every day.
McDavid.
Do it. Get it done. So Oilers, I guess you just have to win 4 games in a row, which I don't know what this.
Not 4 games in a row. They have to do 4 games though. Like if they lose the next one, they have to do 4 games in a row.
Oh, they can still lose one more time.
They can still lose one more time. But don't listen to that, Oilers. You got to win 4. Just do your best and get 4 out.
4 in a row.
Knock it out.
Okay. I am cheering for the Oilers to get it together.
And one last thing about the Oilers before we move on past hockey. Oilers fans, if you're an Oilers fan out there, and I'm talking about a diehard fan, you don't have to look so sad driving home when they lose. Like, it looks like you lost your dog or your grandma, like driving home. When I look at people, just sad. There was a couple that was driving home the other day, just sad. They left before the game even finished. They were just like, it's over.
The city really lights up. They just raised the tickets, the cost of that outside party section.
Yeah, the outside
from
party.
$5 to $20.
I knew they were gonna do that.
Of course they're gonna do it, but at the same time, like, now what? Are people still paying $20 to go see them lose?
They can come to Aphrodisiac for $5.
We'll put it right here on.
We'll play it right here on this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If there's a playoff game, I will have a watch
playoff
game.
Party. Yeah, we should. Yeah,
and when I say playoff game, I mean if the series is tied 3-3.
3-3.
Yeah. Sorry, you guys. All right.
Okay. Moving on. The next portion. Let me talk about
the Edmonton Police bust.
Let's talk about it.
So the Edmonton Police Service just bust their first round number of cocaine at 25 kilos. And this story to me is not, what is interesting is not the amount of drugs and guns and cars. And even Kalmar, there was like a storage facility in Kalmar that they raided for all this. What is interesting to me in this is that Jeremy Manuel, however you say it, was like 22, 23 years old. And he had this whole situation running to you.
Oh. So old Jeremy had the drug.
Young Jeremy.
Young Jeremy.
He had the game on lock.
He watched Breaking Bad, came up with an idea.
He had 2 houses. He had like 2 storage facilities.
How is this?
He had a number of cars. He had cars with hidden compartments.
Red alert, red alert, red alert.
Absolutely red alert, because who snitched?
It's not about who snitched. You're 23 years old with 2 cars, and 2 houses and storage facilities. Come on. This generation of 23-year-olds doesn't have that capacity. All of them.
I think they have the capacity.
To have 2 houses, 2 cars with storage, and 2 storage facilities? Really?
I think if you're...
All right, if you're tenacious enough.
Jeremy could have done anything. I don't think Jeremy was a regular 20-something-year-old to begin with whenever he started this venture.
You're not wrong.
Because you don't go to 25 kilos of cocaine a few grams at a time. Like, Jeremy was never on the street hustling a few grams of cocaine. Jeremy figured out whatever he figured out pretty early, and probably there's somebody else who taught Jeremy everything he knows. But congratulations to Edmonton Police Service for having an even number. Well, I mean, not even, but like round, you know?
Yeah, 25 is, I'm pretty sure it was 25.85. 24.85. I'm pretty sure.
Or 25.85.
Just round it up. Just round it up for the TV, for the camera. They probably heard us trolling them.
Yeah, 22 something. So here's what's also funny. When they posted it on Yag Wave, they posted like the photos of the cocaines and the guns or whatever.
Yeah.
And then everybody started responding to it like it was a Facebook marketplace ad. They're like, "Hi, is this still available?"
The thing about it is the guns in the picture don't look real.
Oh.
There's like a gun there that's like shining. It looks like something you just go to Walmart and pick that up and be like, "Yep."
Oh wow. All right, there's an old grizzly bear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a grizzly bear who is special and
There was a grizzly bear.
And
named
it was
Fuzzy
white.
Wuzzy.
A white grizzly bear, and his name was Nakota, which is an interesting thing to name a bear, like after a whole nation.
Yeah, it was a rare white grizzly bear.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about grizzlies usually come in like a brownish, blackish color.
Mm-hmm.
Grizzlies are also one of the fiercest warriors in Canada, for sure.
Yeah, I would say
In the
I agree
animal
with
kingdom.
you in the bear world.
Yeah,
Coming only second to polar
rhinos,
bear, probably.
Okay,
the bear world.
Sorry, we're talking about the bears. Teddy Ruxpin.
How did you get to rhinos?
I thought you meant in animals because I said animals. It's the fierce animal.
Oh,
but it's come second only to Teddy. Teddy Ruxpin was one smart bear.
an adventurer, anyway.
But let's go back to the respect that Nakota deserves. Nakota was rare and got hit by a car of all things.
And
So,
like a white bear. Like,
wild.
you didn't see the white bear?
That's crazy.
I bet they hit him with the car, and they're going to call Fish and Wildlife and see if they can have the pelt.
Yeah. That's wild.
Anyway. R.I.P. to Nakota.
R.I.P. Nakota. Sorry you went through that.
Yep. And that the last few things we have, we were going to do a quick recap, but we'll do that at the end. We're going to talk really quickly about Method Man. Apparently, Method Man went to Summer Jam, and he was like, never again.
Method Man.
Mm-hmm. He said, never again. He said the age gap is just too wide, and he just can't do it. So Summer Jam is usually
the age gap is too wide.
In New York. The Summer Jam is a festival concert type of a music festival that happens all day outside, and he said, nah, chill, not the kid.
That's interesting. Did he make that because he was upset, or did he look out there and was like, you know what, time for me to retire? That's what I want to know.
I didn't ask him.
Okay, well, when we see him, we'll ask him.
What he did say, I'll bring up his actual quote.
Yeah, because the fact that Method Man is a name by itself. Like when people go out to see Method Man or Mace or Cameron or Styles P, who didn't show up here in Edmonton, or because his passport wasn't ready to go, or even what's the name? Anybody. If you're coming to see any of these guys who were popular in the 90s, you're coming because of the nostalgia of them being popular in the 90s. They had a following. They have a following. So Summer Jam, when they brought him, the place is always packed. It's packed. Usually they sell out.
Yeah, but they're not coming there to see Method Man or Redman. Especially on Summer Jam. There's no way. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have a question about Summer Jam. So with Summer Jam, what happens? You get like a ticket and then you get to see all these different artists just jump on stage? Is that like a Coachella kind of thing? Is Coachella I guess Coachella's like
same idea.
Okay.
But not the same vibe and not the same. It's like at the Giants Stadium usually. You go early. Sometimes you might like tailgate or whatever. There's usually the openers and whatever. But when I say, first of all, I'm going to tell you what he said, and then I'm going to tell you what the lineup was, okay?
Okay.
So Summer Jam, he said, not our crowd at all. He said, thanks again, New York and the whole tri-state that showed up to the event, plus Pete and Ebro, those are two of the guys on the radio. I got love for you guys, but never again. At this point, the generation gap is just too wide for me. # never coming back. and he was performing.
The
The fact that he hashtag never
Never
coming back
is the wildest part.
Like, he was looking for that.
Okay.
Anyway, he was performing with Redman, which to me, Redman and Method Man is even a younger crowd or what have you.
You think so? Oh yeah, then Wu-Tang. Yeah.
But it's an all-day thing. You're outside. Okay, so
because you're outside, you're buying these tickets and then you're coming inside to the Giants Stadium to see all these different artists. He says like the tri-state area, like the whole tri-state area came to see him. So I'm like, what really happened?
The concert, not him, is what I'm trying to say. They didn't. I almost guarantee you they didn't go from Redman and Method Man. Hot 97 is almost not even like in their heyday. It's like 50 Cent. It's like, and yeah, Wu-Tang's been there. 50 Cent was there. Game's been there. But usually a Hot 97, it's Doja Cat. It's Offset. It's Sexy Red. That's this year. They were celebrating their legacy of Method Man and Redman. So that's like a lifetime achievement award, essentially.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I don't even know half of these people.
The States is crazy.
And I listen to this music.
In the States, every time they come up on stage and they do their stuff on stage, they give a person a Lifetime Achievement Award. They make that person perform all their greatest hits. They're sweating out when they come up. They're like, all right, this is the last time you will ever perform. So you better get it in.
Listen, performing this year, Doja Cat, Offset, Sexy Red, Method, Sleepy Hollow, Davido, T Grizzly, and 41, Kyle Rich, Jen Carter, and Tata. I don't know half those people, bro. I got you on Doja Cat. I could probably got maybe 5 of her songs. Offset, Sexy Red.
I know 41. I know Tata.
You know 41?
Yeah, 41.
I guess between the two of us.
I know 41.
We
I
know what's
Tata.
going on.
Well, the last 4 was who?
Who's this again? Well, the last 41 looks like it's a group of 3 people.
No, what was the last 3 names you listed off?
Kyle Rich, Jen Carter, and Tata.
Jen Carter, I know.
All make up 41. I think 41 is a group.
Interesting.
I'm telling you by how they punctuated it.
How they punctuated?
Yeah,
I
they
know
said
Jen
41
Carter.
and then in. But anyway, the point is, I don't know. I have no idea who these people are, most of them.
I feel like if you go on stage as Method Man, what you want is when you say your thing, like if I say METHOD, everybody should come in. Man, they don't right? Know. I don't think the kids know that they got their phones out. They got their phones out. They're not dancing. They're jumping. They're not doing nothing.
Right. And the other thing, there's like 8, 9 people on here. These are 1-hour sets. 1, 2, 3.
Each of them are 1 hour?
Bro, I'm telling you, it's all day. And you're there. It's crammed. You're on a tarmac, practically. It's concrete. It's hot. It's sticky.
But I doubt Method Man was there for that long. They probably brought him in for his portion, maybe half an hour before.
Method Man and Redman, they said they were honoring their legacy. You can't say you're honoring your legacy and make it shorter than everybody else.
No, I mean, like, you're saying an hour set, yes, but he wasn't there for everybody else's hour set.
Oh, yeah, he probably just showed up for his...
Yeah, just half an hour before to be like, hey, I'm here.
Even that, perhaps. I will say perhaps, but what I will tell you is, I've seen Method Man at a festival before called Rock the Bells. Rock the Bells is a festival that he likes, actually. And I believe it's like... might be his, I don't even know if it exists still, but it might be his festival or Wu-Tang's festival or whatever.
Right.
But in any case, at Rock the Bells, when he was there, he was always walking around. Like, he's there all day. Like, you just see him with a towel over his head. Walking around. So, maybe he just got there performing whatever, but he's also a fun... I don't know Method Man. Let's be clear. I do not know that bad.
Okay, if you know more than me, because
all I'm saying,
from what I can see of Method Man, he seems fun, and how he relates to this generation is by social media. Like what he's done with with what's his name, Joshua the Stallion.
Yeah,
being like he's his big brother or whatever.
They're actually related though, isn't it? They're like that's his uncle or something.
I don't know, but I don't think so either. I think they just look quite a bit alike. But you might be right, and they might actually be related. But it's funny because in the skit that they do, Josh is 26. Method Man's definitely older than 26, and Joshua, is it Josh? Jordan is 26, and Jordan goes and takes the information that he has, and everybody's like, you're what they call him, little big ug. They call him because he looks old. He just looks old for his age. He looks older than Method Man,
right? Which
is hilarious to me. Anyways, I like it. I'm sad that I didn't get to see him on that stage, but I will get to see him at one point. I think the last time we tried to invite him on the show when he came to Edmonton the last time.
Oh, who?
Us, the two of us, the Black Multiverse Theory, us.
Who did we try and invite?
Method Man, Lord help me, Jesus.
No, I don't think we did.
Yes, we did. You specifically, I was like, yo, we should get him on the show, and you were like, yeah.
Method Man? When was he here?
The other
day. During Wu-Tang?
He was here just the other day.
Like by himself?
Yeah, just the other day.
Not with Wu-Tang.
We announced it on this show.
Are you talking about Sheik?
No, I'm talking about Method.
Are you not talking about Ice Cube?
Method, man.
When was he here?
Anyway.
Sorry, you guys. Alternate universe. I don't think I was living on that timeline at the time.
No, we talked about it before.
After my consciousness got to this timeline. Before. All right, let's move on to the next portion of the scroll, which we affectionately call the screen. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so what are you watching on the screen currently?
On the screen, I have been watching a couple things, to be honest. A couple things. But let's start with Discovery. Discovery came in with a series finale, it seems like, not a season finale, which is strange because Star Trek's go in 7 seasons. The original Star Trek's, like Voyager was 7 seasons, Deep Space Nine was 7 seasons, TNG was.
So what season are we in of this show?
4.
Really? That doesn't seem right.
No.
Okay.
So I think it's 4.
Go ahead, keep talking. I can
you have me questioning myself, but
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's 4.
Mm-hmm.
So they ended it really awesome. The graphics, the stuff they did was pretty cool, but a lot of people do not like Michael Burnham. They just don't like it. And the writer of the show, the main director, producer, said that they think that they just started off too dark with the show, like the series. So people kind of were like, oh, this is dark, and then dialed out. Which is interesting because I guess Picard had the nostalgia behind it, and then the original had whatever. What was it?
It's 5.
That's 5. Okay. So that's what I've been watching. I watched that. And I've watched quite a few other short movies, including Jennifer Lopez's Atlas.
Okay. Tell us about it.
Yes. And Jennifer Lopez in general, I think we were supposed to talk about it last week, but has been in the media with a gentleman by the name of Sterling K. Brown
and J-Lo.
Sterling K. Brown.
I'm almost positive we didn't talk about it last week because we weren't on the air last week.
Yeah.
Did we talk about it the week prior, you think?
No, I think we were supposed to talk about it last week.
Oh, understood. Got
That's
you.
what I was saying. So I watched her movie Atlas, which is hilarious because Sterling K. Brown, is it A. Brown or K. Brown?
Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown in an interview says when he watched Atlas, she spoke. Ben Affleck was helping her with the lines because they were recently married, and the way how she responded in the show was with that of a married couple that is in love, deeply in love, which is hilarious because when you watch Atlas, the part that he's talking about, she's screaming at the computer. She does not like the computer at all. She doesn't like AI at all, and it's really based in the future. So it wasn't bad, but what got to me is the fatal flaws. And the fatal flaws are when you take a rule, you put it into the universe. For instance, Star Wars. The rule used to be good guys have blue and green lightsabers, bad guys have red. That was the rule. They changed it with Samuel L. Jackson when he asked for a purple when they gave him purple. And then because they gave him purple, they had to give everybody different colors, so now different gems create different lightsabers. That's how it is now. So here in Atlas, the rule that they broke was they went to an uninhabitable planet.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's outside of whatever's keeping her breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Breathing.
Mm-hmm.
How?
Well, just because it's uninhabitable doesn't mean you can't breathe the air. It could be uninhabitable for lots of different reasons.
Yes, one of them was because it didn't have oxygen.
Oh.
And they're
That's
all
pretty...
and they're all AI.
Oh, okay.
So everybody on that planet is AI. So not to give away any spoilers, but that's one of the things that I thought was really, really annoying about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are you watching?
I don't think I have anything that I'm watching. I think I'm watching something that I'm going to affectionately call Dance with the Devil, but I don't know if that's what it's actually called. But it's this show about these TikTok dancers that like joined a cult. I didn't finish it, so you guys can take a look at it. It's about pretty much this TikTok dancing cult, more or less.
Okay, I watched that, so I could give you a little bit of synopsis if you want it.
If you want to give it, you sure can.
Yo, nobody wants it.
And if you want to, sure.
The synopsis is there's a bunch of dancers that hang out in LA. Mm-hmm. So there's a bunch of dancers that kind of hang out, and this one guy who is like one of the top dancers joins a church, and this church is like trying to raise funds and trying to get money, and they're getting things together. And then that dancer had like a ton of viewers and followers on their TikTok. And so because they had all these viewers and followers, they realized that they were having struggle time getting money and producing the videos because they spent so much time having to edit. They just wanted to dance. They didn't want to have to edit. So this pastor who was there realized that they're not getting money for this stuff and said, hey, why don't we manage your talent? So he started managing all these dancers, and his son is editing and taking the video. His son has like a little crew. His daughter's managing them and making sure that they stay in the house and they have enough to eat and blah, blah, blah. And they moves them all into a house that the church owns. So the church owns all these different houses and moves all the dancers so they live together in different rooms. They're kind of like in a little boarding school. But where it gets crazy is he starts taking the money that they're making from TikTok and keeping them away from their families and putting them to church. And that's what starts making it into a cult. These dancers are just regular dancers that you see all the time on TikTok doing all sorts of moves. You see them all the time because they're in there, they're boosting the TikTok views, and we've seen most of these dancers. But they all joined this church, and then they realized there's something gravely wrong going on when none of them are getting money. And none of them really had money to survive, but they're being fed and they're being housed by this church. And then we find out there's sex involved, so against people's will. So that's where the premise of the whole thing is.
Okay. Do you want to talk about Fade to Black now?
Yeah, Fade to Black was a fashion show that happened this weekend. I was given the privilege of hosting Fade to Black. It was brought on by Sherrall Leslie and the SNK events group led by Jasmine Duncan. They did a great job as usual. I had all the people there. People were laughing and having a great time and enjoying themselves. Food was delicious. They had doubles there as part of the food and a charcuterie board, a large charcuterie board table with all types of nuts and vegetables and fruits and stuff on it, and crackers and cheeses and stuff like that, which people got to take throughout the thing. Of course, Eric was on the bar, and we had DJ Diamond on the ones and twos, and she took care of that. And we had a great time. It was pretty good. So shout out to Sherrall and Jasmine for doing a great job at Fade to Black this year.
And let's talk about Africanaval.
Africanaval is a African-based themed festival that happens downtown. It's much like Cara West, but it is more like a flea market, or a market that is held on. They have a big stage. It's done at Churchill. People have authentic African dishes like jollof rice and puff puff. They are there, as well as barbecue meat, assorted meats, and fish, barbecue fish, which was all right. Not too bad. We had a good time there, but it was rainy, very, very rainy, and they couldn't control the weather. So they didn't have as much people in there as they should have, or they could have.
They could have.
Yeah.
A lot of people went. I think they were upset with the rain, but it was a good time, and great job to everybody.
And it didn't just rain. It was cold. But here's Alberta. Alberta is like, whenever it rains, it's cold. I've never seen a time in Alberta where it's warm and it's raining.
Okay.
Want to talk about just before we go?
Oh, okay. Caitlyn Clarke?
Sure.
No, it's okay. Sorry, I was finishing your thing. Go ahead.
No, well, as we're talking about festivals, I want to talk about the Aphrodisiac World Lock Fest that is happening on June 22nd. I will be there hosting that. From noon to 7 o'clock, we'll be at the is it the Northeast River Valley Event Center?
Yeah.
Yes. And so that is a brand new facility. Not many people know where that is. So stay tuned. It's going to be amazing. Fantastic. There's lots of people coming in there. Lots of artists going to be there. It's going to be lock photography. We're going to be talking. Lots of people having presentations that they're going to have. Vendors are going to be there. There's going to be kids activities. So you're going to deal with balloons and face painting. There's going to be food for everybody. It's going to be awesome. And lots of parking and lots of place for everybody to run around. Bring the family. Come on down. We're going to have a good time.
We're also not going to be governing food and drinks. And it's a large park area. So you can always pack a picnic and come on through.
Yes, most definitely.
Okay. Also, do you want to keep talking then if we're running on events?
Sure.
We have this weekend coming up. I think you're hosting something for them too, aren't you? The Music Fest? Afro Music Fest?
No. I'm not.
Oh, that's weird.
So this weekend is the Afro Music Fest that is also down, I believe, down in
That's
Churchill.
Borden Park.
Borden Park. By
Yeah.
Borden Park.
Mm-hmm.
I am not doing anything for that, but I am doing something for Five Artists One Love.
I was trying to get No Sass on the show, but I think maybe because I don't know, I could get all of them.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry,
So
more words were coming than needed to.
it's okay.
Okay. Did you say what's in your ears?
No, I haven't said what's in my
we
ears.
forgot one more thing. Go ahead.
What's that?
Event?
Oh, one more event. Yes, we have Nilo and I will be hosting at the TELUS World of Science building. It's called the
It's called a powwow, but it's for National Indigenous Day.
There we go. The powwow for National Indigenous Day. So we'll be hosting. We're going to be MCs there. Very honored to do this on behalf of the Standing Bear community and Bill specifically, who came and respectfully and awesomely asked us to do this. We are so honored to be a part of this event. We're inviting a lot of people to come out. Anybody within the sound of my voice, if you hear my voice and you want to be a part of this and see what it's all about, come and join us on June 21st
at TELUS World
at the TELUS World of Science.
If you want to learn how to put up a teepee, you can get there for 8 a.m. If you just want to come for the festivities, you can come through 11, 12 o'clock. There'll be all the things. There'll be bannock. There will be a lot of vendors there as well. So they'll all be there. A huge thank you once again to Bill for even thinking about us for the opportunity as well. So yeah, catch up with us then.
Yes.
And now we are on to In Your Ears. What are you listening to?
In our ears. Well, in my ears, I have actually been going back again. At times, throughout the year, I kind of go back to some old school stuff. And I went back to Michael Jackson. And I was like, yo, Michael Jackson has some amazing stuff. And I was watching a little documentary about him the other day. And the lady in the documentary said he would walk into the studio, walk up to the guitarist, and just start singing what he wanted the guitarist to play.
To sound like, yeah.
Yeah. He was like, and then if he didn't do it exactly the way he sang it, he'd keep doing it until you got it. Like, he was like, no, I want it, and he would just keep doing it over and over until the guitarist was like, okay. And then when he was satisfied, then they would move on. And this has been known about Michael Jackson and his prowess as a musician and as a singer, to have these thoughts and sounds in his head already and just come up and be like, and just tell the drummer what to play by singing it with his mouth. It's fantastic.
That's amazing. So that's what you're listening to right now, Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson.
Thames has a new album out. I've listened to it front to back. It's pretty good. I will give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
It is very chill music, is what I will say. The entire thing is quite chill. It sort of flows through. If you're like in your house by yourself, candles on, maybe you're cleaning or doing some of your artwork, or you don't feel like lo-fi hip-hop. You want something a little bit more like Thames.
Yeah.
But if you're listening to a group with people, it easily gets lost and goes away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not necessarily like for big social, but really for like intimate gathering. Definitely like you can put it on when you're like talking in a party setting type of a deal. So yes, Thames, check it out though. It's a very good listen.
Okay.
And that is it. Do you have a word for us this week?
I do. The word for this week is keep pushing. You got to keep pushing. So a lot of times we have a vision, a plan, something that we're trying to get through. For instance, this weekend was my son's soccer tournament. They won the first game 21-1.
Holy cow.
Completely obliterated that team. So they walked into the next game on, of course, a high, like they were going to win every game. and ended up losing that game 4-2.
Mm.
Now, in that loss, a lot of people got discouraged. And then the unthinkable happened. 6 players on the team went home. So that left the rest of them to fight for the next placement. And so they went into the next game and they fought tooth and nail to get into a medal standing. So now when they won that second game, they had to kind of win it by 4 to even place because it's a round robin. They didn't quite win it by 4, so they actually were going to fight the next round for third place. They went in there and they did just that, winning the game 8-1, the last game. Now,
oh wow,
what does that say? If they had given up, now the 6 players who left, they didn't leave because they gave up. Those 6 players didn't realize there was another medal standing. So they had already made arrangements to go to a birthday party or to go to another thing or another engagement, and they just left. Some of them was like, oh, he's my ride. I just got to go with him because that's my ride.
That's my ride, yeah.
And they left. They're teenagers, so none of them thought, well, I'm still in this thing. Even though he's my ride, maybe I could get a ride with somebody else and call.
Mm-hmm.
I say this to say this. Listen, we got to keep pushing. It's not over until some lady sings, preferably the thick lady, right? So until that happens, you got to keep moving. Activate who and what you have to activate to make your motivation a success. The things that we do in life only come through with perseverance, dedication, and pushing. You got to push. That's how you get a baby out. That's how things work. So when you're feeling down, you are enough. You can push just a little bit more and we'll do this thing. That's the word. Just the word.
All right. That's quite the word. 10 out of 10 for that word. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us. If you've listened this far, please give us a like, give us a share, give us a comment, give us a subscribe. Let us know that you're out there. We will talk to you soon. Same bad time, same bad station. We will see you next week.
That's
Good night,
right.
everybody.
Good night.